Welcome everyone. Week 4 of the Yoga Spot yoga lessons. Thanks to Chloe once again for being the yoga class representative. So starting in Shavasana, removing any glasses, jewellery, altering any clothing if it's a little too tight, adding any supports beneath the knees, hips, buttocks, head or neck if you feel you need to. And just making sure that you are comfortable, supported, the bladder and bowel are empty, and that you've not eaten a main meal in the last hour or so. Closing the eyes lightly, softening the muscles of the face. Taking a slow deep breath, allow the body to soften into the floor, releasing through the backs of the shoulders, back of the neck, the buttocks, the small of the back, letting go into the floor. And take now 3 long, slow, deep breaths in and out. And with each outward breath, letting go further and further into the floor. So Shavasana, the feet at hip width apart, falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away from the body, palms uppermost, or perhaps turn lightly toward the body, but not in contact with anything at all. Fingers are lightly curled. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and make sure that you have softened through the shoulder blades, back of the neck. And take the awareness down now into the toes. Notice how the toes and the feet are feeling. And then scanning from the toes up toward the crown of the head, using the breath and awareness to release tension within the body as you work your way up the body. So for example, taking the breath and awareness into the toes, feet and ankles, and with the outward breath, softening the muscles, tendons and ligaments of the toes, feet and ankles, and releasing with that outward breath any tension, tightness, heat, perhaps pain from that body area. Repeating to this area if there are any tense, tight or sore spots for you. And then with the next breath, moving on to the calves and the shins. Using the breath and awareness to soften, relax and release from this area. Using a breath or two if you need to. And moving to the knees, thighs, back of the thighs. And continuing on in that manner toward the crown of the head. Using breath and awareness to release tension from the body. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice, and bring awareness now instead to the mind. Notice how you're actually feeling today or this evening if you're doing this class after work or in the evening. Notice where your emotional and mental state is at. How you're travelling with any anxiety that might be persisting for you through this pandemic. Acknowledging all those thoughts, concerns, emotions, and then take a gentle breath to the mind. Imagine those thoughts, concerns, emotions being wrapped up or enveloped by or in that gentle breath, and gently exhale them out with the breath. And do this with 3 further gentle breaths. Clearing the mind, releasing these thoughts and emotions from the mind, the turmoil of the day. After the next outward breath, letting go of this practice. Give yourself permission to stay in the present moment for the next hour with this class, focusing only on the here and now, the body, the breath, and the mind. So beginning with the gentle warm-ups today, bring the palms to the floor and the arms close in to the body. Bring both feet to the floor, the knees pointing toward the ceiling. Breathing in, move slowly from the tailbone up to a point on the spine at the back of the waist, holding there. And when you're ready to breathe out, travelling back down that same imaginary line to the tailbone, continuing on in time with your own breath. If you're having trouble identifying that point on the spine at the back of the waist, you might like to imagine a line going straight from the navel through to the spine at the back of the body. That's the point you're moving up to, holding, and then when you're ready to breathe out, moving from there back down to the tailbone in any way that's comfortable for your body today. The eyes are lightly closed. Have the awareness following the movement, feeling in to the back of the body. And if you've been practicing yoga for some time, feel also into the hips, the abdominal muscles, subtle movement through the thighs, chest muscles. And after the next outward breath, when you come back down to the tailbone, letting go of this movement. And instead imagine now a clock face drawn on the back of the body, the 12 at the point on the spine at the back of the waist, the 6 at the tailbone, the 9 and the 3 out to the sides or the flanks of the body, the other numbers where you'd expect to find them on a clock. Beginning at the 6 or the tailbone, moving in a clockwise direction around and up to the 12. Upon reaching the 12, breathing out, and with the outward breath move down, around, through the clock, back down to the 6 or the tailbone. Breathing in on the upward half of the clock, out on the downward. Again, eyes remaining lightly closed, awareness following the movement. After the next outward breath, pausing and then reversing the direction around the clock face. Still breathing in on the upward half of the movement, which is now the opposite side of the body. Out with the downward. After the next outward breath, letting go of this movement, there's no hurry. When you come back to the tailbone, let go of the movement, feeling into the back of the body, noticing the effects of those gentle, subtle warm-ups for you today. And then bring the knees, feet and ankles together. Bring the thighs and the knees toward the chest and clasp the hands around the knees or the shins. Making small circular movements with both knees moving in unison. Again, focusing on the back of the body. And if you've been practicing yoga for some time, feel also into the abdominal area, hips, chest and lungs. After the next outward breath, and as usual, no hurry to get to that point. When you do, reversing. Breathing in when the legs are away from the body and the lungs and chest have room to expand. Breathing out as the thighs and knees come toward the chest. Quite slow and rhythmic in time with the breath. After the next outward breath, let go of this movement, but hold in the position you're in with the thighs close to the chest. Feel into the back of the body for a moment or two. If there's any supports beneath the head and neck, taking those out now. Tucking the chin in a little toward the back of the spine. And then begin rocking and rolling gently from side to side. So rolling gently from side to side, independently of the breath. So it can be quite rapid or just as fast or as slow as is comfortable for you today in this warm-up. If the hips and shoulders are moving, the head and neck need to be moving as well. So if the shoulders are rotating, head and neck are also rotating. So the whole spine is moving as one unit from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Awareness in the back of the body through the spine. And if you started by rolling toward the right, the next time you come to the centre after having rolled toward the left, and vice versa, just so that you've done an equal number to each side. You come to the middle, releasing back to Shavasana. Release the legs, perhaps one leg at a time if there's any lower back or abdominal strength issues. Feet hip width apart, falling gently out to the sides. Arms a little away. Softening through the small of the back. Use the breath to release any areas that might feel as though they're holding any tension. And then feel through the full length of the body. And preparing now for a form of the universal spinal twist. Bring the right foot to the floor, right knee to the ceiling, and place the right foot in contact with the left knee or thigh. It can be on the inside of the leg or on top of the leg, whatever's most comfortable for you. And bring the left hand onto the right knee. Bring the right arm outstretched on the floor at shoulder height and have the right palm on the floor. Just check along the length of the arm that the arm is in a straight line or as straight as is possible. And closing the eyes, feel through the spine, hips, shoulders, head and neck. Breathe in, breathing out. Use the left hand to place some pressure onto that right knee and take the right knee toward the left side of the room. And turn the head and neck to look beyond the fingers of the right hand. And have the eyes closed. Feel into the twist. Keeping that right foot in contact with some part of the left leg to prevent you overextending or injuring through the lower back, hips and spine. When you're ready, breathe in, come back up to the centre or neutral position. If you need a recovery breath, take a recovery breath. Otherwise, simply with the next outward breath, moving back in to the twist position. Noticing what's happening with the hips, shoulders, spine, head and neck. Continuing on in time with your own breath. So breathing in, moving to the centre or neutral. When you're ready, breathing out, moving into the twist. If it's comfortable for you on this round, you might like to take a natural breath or two while you're in the twist position and allow the body to sink a little further into that twist with each outward breath. If that causes any pain or discomfort for you, simply continue in time with a single breath. Be guided by the body, not the mind. the next inward breath when the knee comes back up to the upright or neutral position. With the next outward breath, release back to Shavasana. So releasing to Shavasana with an outward breath. Allow the body to sink or settle back into the floor. Use the breath to release any tension, if you're feeling any tension through shoulders, neck, hips, wherever it may be. And feel the effects of that practice for that side of the body. And preparing now to repeat to the opposite side. Bring the left foot to the floor, knee to the ceiling. Have the left foot in contact with the right leg. The left arm is outstretched on the floor at shoulder height with the palm of the left hand on the floor, so the palm is down. The right hand is in contact with the left thigh or knee, wherever is comfortable for you to hold. The eyes are lightly closed, awareness through the full length of the spine. Breathing in, breathing out when you're ready. Bring the left knee toward the right side of the room. Turning the head and neck to look beyond the fingers of the left hand. With the eyes lightly closed, feeling into that stretch and twist. When you're ready, breathing in, coming back up to the neutral. If you need a recovery breath in the neutral, take one. Otherwise, simply just when you're ready to breathe out, moving back in to the position. 1 to 2 further rounds in this way with a single breath, so that what you've done to the previous side, you're replicating on this side. We next come to the neutral position. If you wish to, on this side, take 2 or 3 ordinary breaths while you're in the twist position. With the outward breath, allow the body to sink or settle into that twist a little further and feel fully into the hips, spine, shoulders, head and neck. If it's uncomfortable for you on this side to do that, please revert to only performing this in time with a single breath. Paying attention to what's suitable for your body on either side, and it can be quite different from one side to the other. And the next time you come to the neutral position, and there's certainly no hurry to do this, but when you do, with the outward breath, release to Shavasana. Feet hip width apart, arms a little away, palms uppermost. Use a slow releasing or softening breath to soften any areas that might be feeling a little tense, tight or sore. Hopefully not sore. But use the breath to let go of any tension, and then feel through that side of the body. Notice the effects for you on that side. And then take the time to observe if there's any differences between the left and the right in that universal spinal twist for you today. The next asana this afternoon is cycling with 2 legs. You might like to bring the palms of the hands underneath the hips or buttocks or the small of the back. You might like them flat on the floor, or you might prefer the hands in clenched fists. In any way that's comfortable for you, bring both legs up off the floor, extended up toward the ceiling. If there's any lower back or abdominal strength issues, you might like to raise those legs 1 leg at a time. When you're ready, coordinating the breath with the right leg, breathing in while the right foot and leg is fully extended, breathing out as the right knee and thigh come around toward the chest. So cycling with two legs exactly as you would if you were riding a bike, but it's in time with the breath, timing the breath to the right leg, breathing in when the right leg is fully outstretched, knee is straight, toes reaching for the ceiling or sky, breathing out as the thigh and knee come toward the chest. So breathing out when the right knee is bent, breathing in when the right leg is fully extended or stretching for the sky. And after the next outward breath, when the right knee is bent, pause and reverse the direction. Still breathing in when the right leg is straight, breathing out when the right knee and thigh are coming toward the chest. So it's quite slow, feeling into the knees, hips, movement of the legs. If you've been practicing yoga for some time, feel also into the abdominal muscles and organs, the back of the body. And after the next outward breath, letting go of this movement and returning to Shavasana, perhaps releasing the legs one leg at a time if there's any abdominal strength or lower back issues. Feet falling gently out, arms a little away. Long, slow, deep breath to the abdominal area, softening the abdominal muscles, hips, lower back, leg muscles with the breath out. Feeling the effects of the practice. Noticing any differences between the left and the right leg. Noticing if there's any differences to your breathing or heart rate. And with the eyes open, rolling now onto the right side of the body. Have the right arm underneath the head and neck. Palms can be up or down. Have the legs in a straight line, one leg on top of the other. The heels roughly in line with the backs of the knees and the hips and buttocks. When you're comfortable that you're in a straight line, bring the upper arm overhead so that the hands are together. Using the abdominal muscles and the back muscles, hips and pelvis to hold the body straight and erect. If there's any sciatica or lower back issues or hip issues, you might prefer just to visualize this practice in time with the breath. Certainly should be no pain. If there's any lower back or hip pain, please stop immediately and visualize the practice. When you're ready and feel stable and balanced, breathing in, slowly raise the upper arm and leg to your point of balance, holding there for a moment or two, exhaling down. Once more in this manner in time with your own breath, just to your point of balance, holding steady, exhaling down. If it's suitable for your body, in particular that lower back and hip, the next breath in, you might like to take the arm further and hold the thigh or knee. If this causes you any instability or wobble, please revert to the previous way of performing this movement. Come down when you're ready with the outward breath. If that caused you any distress through the back, hips or pelvis or undue wobble, revert to the initial way of moving. So this is excellent for strengthening the spine, hips, arms and leg muscles, core muscle strength. The next time the arm and leg come back down to the floor, release then to Shavasana and feel through the left side of the body while you're in Shavasana. Have the eyes open to return to Shavasana if that helps your balance. Use a softening breath if you feel you need to, releasing any tension. And just as you're ready, setting up to the opposite side. There's no need to hurry if you feel you need a longer time in Shavasana. If there's any shoulder or neck issues, also please obviously adjust what you do with that lower arm, and if it's unsuitable for you on this side of the body, please feel free not to perform this exercise. So check that you're in as straight as line as possible. When you are, bring the upper arm overhead so the hands are together. Palms can be up or down on that lower arm, just whatever's most comfortable for you. And the first 2 or 3 rounds is just to your point of balance. So as you're ready, inhaling up, exhaling down, just to your point of balance. If you want to further stretch through the calves and hamstrings, point the toe of the upraised leg toward the body. Any hip, pelvis, lower back pain, please stop immediately and visualize the practice only. It's contraindicated, as I've said before, for sciatica. After those first 2 to 3 rounds, holding the knee or thigh, if it's comfortable and suitable for you and does not cause you undue wobble or imbalance. And again, one side of the body can be totally different to the other, so please be mindful of what's suitable for your body. And the next time the right arm and leg come down to the limbs on the floor, the eyes open, releasing carefully to Shavasana. Once in Shavasana, closing the eyes, using a releasing breath to let go of any tension, tightness, feeling them through this side of the body. The eyes open, moving carefully now to a seated position, facing this end of the room. The legs extended out in front of you. Check that you're as upright as possible through the spine. Roll the shoulders down and back a little. Tuck the chin in toward the back of the spine or the neck. And as long as there's no hip issues or knee issues, bring now the soles of the feet together in front of the body for the full butterfly. If there's any knee or hip issues, do this with one leg only on the side that's comfortable for you. And if neither of those movements are comfortable for you, visualize the practice. Have the heels as close to the body as possible. Hold the toes together and check once more that you're upright through the spine, not slumping through the shoulders or abdominal muscles. Eyes closed, awareness in the hips and groins, and allow the knees to gently bounce up and down, feeling into the legs. So no ballistic movements, quite gentle and subtle. Excellent way of stretching all of the muscles of the hips and allowing you to be able to sit in meditation poses eventually. Also good for the back and core muscles. And just as you're ready now, bring the knees up together, bringing the soles of the feet to the floor, and release the legs carefully and gently to be fully outstretched in front of you. And then re-release the knees by bringing one knee at a time, supported by the hands up to the chest and releasing, and the same to the opposite leg. Just making sure that the tendons or ligaments, particularly on the sides of the knee, are fully released. Give the legs, knees or hips a little shake or shrug if you need to, and resting back on the hands or sitting any way that's comfortable for you, feeling through the legs and the effects of the full butterfly practice. And allowing the eyes to open and preparing now for the energy unblocking pose of churning the mill, Have the feet as wide apart as is comfortable or suitable for you. The wider apart they are, the harder the body has to work. If there's any abdominal strength issues or back issues, you might like to bring the feet closer together, and you can move and adjust this throughout. Interlock the hands together in front of the body. Have the arms at shoulder height. Adjust if there's any neck or shoulder issues. Have your gaze on your own hands, and that hopefully will allow you to keep the arms at shoulder height throughout. Take the awareness into the midriff section of the body, abdominal organs, waistline area, and the back of the body in the same area. Lean back a little and find your point of balance. Breathe in, breathe out, come forward over the right knee and foot, making a circular movement driven by the hips, no slumping through the back. Breathing out as you come forward, breathing in as the upper body rotates back. So you're breathing in when the body is back and there's room for the lungs to expand. Breathing out as you lean forward, aiming that those arms stay up at shoulder height. So this is good for the shoulders, arm muscles, spine, core muscles. It's considered an energy unblocker. It works on all the pathways that run through the trunk of the body. Keep the backs of the legs and knees firmly fixed on the floor. If they're lifting up, you're coming either forward or back a little too far. All movements driven through the hips, absolutely, totally no lower back pain. If you have any back pain, please adjust how you're moving. The next time you're breathing out and come over the right leg, pause and reverse the direction. Breathing in on that backward movement, out as you come forward and around, keeping the hands at shoulder height. Awareness in that midriff area. Great also for the waistline. You can make that movement rocking forward and back as large or as small as is suitable for your body. Any back issues, you might make a smaller circular movement. Circular movement being driven through the hips. And the next time with the outward breath as you come over the right knee, let go of the movement, release the arms, walk carefully the legs back together, release the knees, give them a little rub as well if there's any sensations through the knees that you feel need to be released. And just as and when you're ready, sitting comfortably with the eyes closed in any position that's comfortable for you, feeling the effects of that energy unblocking pose, churning the mill. Allowing the eyes to open and moving then carefully to a kneeling position on the mat. Preparing for child's pose. If there's any knee issues, you might prefer not to make this movement, and if that's the case, practice any of the knee exercises, either knee rotations or leg bending. So bring the buttocks right down onto the heels. So we'll start from a sitting position. And you might like to have a small blanket or pillow in between the heels and the buttocks if there's any issues with the ankles. So the first position for this is the modified one. So this is the least work rate on the abdominal muscles and the back muscles. So the palms are on the thighs, the eyes are closed. Have the head and neck in a straight line with the spine and tuck the chin in a little toward the back of the spine. Have the knees wide apart or wide enough apart that your upper body will be able to come down and onto the floor. Breathe in, breathing out, slide the palms along the floor and slowly bring the forehead, nose, chin to the floor. Have the buttocks resting on the heels, Check your knees are far enough apart so you've allowed room for the upper body to come down. Breathing naturally with each outward breath, softening into the position. Muscles releasing and softening through the hips, back of the body, shoulder blades, back of the neck. If there's any discomfort, feelings through the head, vertigo, dizziness, you might like to clench your hands into clenched fists, stack one on top of the other in a tower underneath the forehead. And that brings the forehead a little off the floor. Any uncontrolled high blood pressure or heart condition, please use the stacked fist method. You don't want your head any lower than the level of your own heart. If you're using this is a relaxation practice. You can stay in it for 10 to 15 minutes at home if you find that it's comfortable. A great way to let go of stress, shut out the world, recover from the day. So breathing in, slide the palms back along the floor, up the thighs, and come back up to being seated with the eyes remaining closed, breathing naturally. So that's a modified form of the child's pose, great for letting go of stress. Can be used at any time, day, evening. Great to do before you're going to bed. If you're having trouble sleeping, that one, even if you don't stay in the lying part of that pose or with their head on the floor for overly long, if you did 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds of it, just staying on the floor for as long as it was comfortable for you, it allows the mind and body to physically let go, shut down. So great before bed, particularly if you're having trouble sleeping. So with the eyes open, sliding your hands along the floor and come to your fully outstretched on the floor with the abdomen on the floor. Slide the body along so the legs are out straight. Excellent. Soften through the small of the back. Breathing in, raise the right arm and left leg straight up off the floor, the knees straight, the arms are straight, maximum is 10 to 15 centimetres. Breathing out, releasing. Is this is suitable for your body, in particular the lower back, hips, pelvis, sciatica area? Do this twice more to this side. So right arm, left leg. And feel today into the front of the body, around the hip, the abdominal organs, the shoulder and chest. And then for the following 3 rounds to the opposite arm and leg, breathing in, raising, holding for what's suitable for your breath and body, exhaling down. The arm and leg are raised. You can stretch a little between the toes and the fingertips in that diagonal direction. And after completing 3 rounds to this side, releasing the arms to the sides of the body, turn the head to whichever side is comfortable for you, softening through the body, and feeling the effects of that practice, that gentle stretch, and noticing if there's any differences between the left and the right side of the body. And preparing now for the Sphinx pose, bring the forehead to the floor and the arms to the floor near the head. The elbows are bent, the palms are flat to the floor. The elbows make a 90-degree angle with each other, and the middle finger to the elbow should form a straight line. The palms of the hands might have to come off the edge of the mat to achieve this. If the palms and hands are coming in too close to the head, when you actually come up, there'll be too much pressure going through the wrists. Have some part of the feet together, either the big toes or the heels or both, and this just protects the lower back when you come up into the Sphinx. Soften through the small of the back now and through the shoulder blades. Have the eyes lightly closed and the awareness in the spine and the back of the body. When you're ready, slowly breathe in, raising the forehead, then nose, then chin, throat, chest, up off the floor, elbows stay on the floor, pushing down into the forearms like the Sphinx of Egypt. When you're ready to breathe out, reversing slowly with full control back to the floor, chest, throat, chin, nose, forehead. If you need a recovery breath, taking one. Otherwise, simply when you're ready to breathe in, coming back up into the position, making sure some part of the feet are still together to protect the back. Feeling through the shape of the back of the body, the front of the chest, the front of the throat and face. Exhaling down when you're ready. Once more, in time with your own breath. On completion of that round, and there's no hurry, when you have completed, release the arms to the sides and turn the head to whichever side is comfortable for you. Using the breath to soften any areas that might be holding tension. And feel the effects on both the back and front of the body. Allowing the eyes to open, moving carefully now onto all fours for the cat pose. Bring the hands directly beneath the shoulders and the knees directly beneath the hips. Any wrist issues, you might like to have the hands in clenched fists. This just takes some of the pressure off the wrists, and just check that the wrists are actually directly beneath the shoulders. So Chloe, bring those back a little toward the knees. Yep. The feet can be in any position that's comfortable for you. Head and neck are in a straight line with the spine. Eyes are lightly closed, and again feel into the back of the body. And if you've been practicing yoga for some time, feel also into the front of the body and the abdominal muscles. When you're ready, breathing in, raise the head and tailbone toward the ceiling, spine dipping down in its natural curve. When you're ready, breathing out, lower the head and neck as far as is comfortable for you. Arch every single vertebra up toward the ceiling. Tuck the buttocks in and under. Draw the navel up toward the spine. Breathing in. Head and tailbone reaching for the ceiling. Arms and elbows still. Thighs are still. Continue on in time with your own breath. Eyes lightly closed. Feeling fully into the body and the fluid movement of the spine. All movement driven by the spine. Breathing in, head and tailbone are reaching up. Breathing out, buttocks in and under, navel drawn up to the spine. With the head and neck, if there's any neck issues, only take the neck as far as is comfortable for you. If there's any uncontrolled high blood pressure or heart conditions, don't take the head any lower than the level of your own heart. So your head and neck might be staying in a straight line with your spine, if that's what you feel most comfortable with. Same if there's any vertigo or dizziness, not taking the head and neck too low. After the next outward breath, let go of the cat pose. Coming to a seated position. It can be kneeling if that's suitable for your knees, ankles and hips. If not, seated however is comfortable. Closing the eyes, releasing the shoulders or neck, and feeling the effects of the cat pose. With the eyes open, coming now to a standing position. the feet hip width apart or perhaps a little wider. Turn the toes in a little. This protects the knees in the twist pose. Tuck the buttocks in and under. Tuck the chin in toward the back of the spine. Roll the shoulders down and back a little and just check that you are upright through the spine. Breathe in and take the arms out to the sides, palms uppermost. Breathe out, bending the elbows, fingertips to the shoulders. Breathe in, breathing out, turn to look beyond the right elbow. Breathing in as you come back to the centre. Breathing out as you move to the opposite side. Head and neck turning to look beyond the back elbow. So just in time with your own breath. Turning to look past the elbow and shoulder that are moving back. Breathing into the centre, out to the opposite side. Taking the toes turned in to protect the knees. Feel the twist through the hips, shoulders, spine, movement of the head and neck. Great for releasing tension if you've been sitting for most of the day. Excellent for the spine at any time. Again, a nice one to do before bed, just a way of unwinding, untwisting, both mentally and physically. And if you turn to look beyond the right shoulder first, when you next come to the neutral or front position after turning to have looked beyond the left so that you've done an equal number to each side, then let go of the movement. Give the arms and legs a shake and a release. And then standing comfortably, closing the eyes, feeling the effects of that spinal twist. Allow the eyes to open and have the feet about hip width apart. Tuck the buttocks in and under. Interlock the hands together in front of the body and just check that the chin is in toward the back of the neck so that the spine is in as straight a line as possible within its own natural curve. Breathing in, take the arms overhead and turn the palms to the ceiling. Breathe out, moving to the right, stretching the palms up toward the ceiling. Breathe into the centre, out, moving now to the left. So sort of swaying palm tree. Imagine the body is in between two panes of glass as though you're wedged in a double glazed window. Stay upright through the spine, hips, shoulders. Into the side position and stretching up, palms reaching for the sky. Have the awareness in the rib cage, the centre of the body. It's about the compression on one side, the stretch on the other. So not particularly how far over to the side you go, but more about that stretch and compression and the reach up. So again, excellent for the full length of the spine, back muscles, core muscles. Good before bed as a stretch, great in the morning. And if you're working at a desk or have a lot of sitting, great at any time of the day. If you started by moving to the right, the next time you come to the neutral position after moving to the left or vice versa, with an outward breath, release the arms in a sideways arc, back to the starting position, release the feet and knees, give the body a shake or shrug if you need to. Standing comfortably with the eyes closed, feeling the effects of the swaying palm tree. To the final asana or pose this afternoon. Have the feet reasonably close together. Bring the palms onto the front of the thighs. The eyes lightly closed and take a slow deep breath in and out. Touch another one and begin to focus on the breath itself. The movement of the lungs. Movement of the air through the nostrils and body. And breathing in, time the movement to the breath Bringing the arms up overhead, fully extended and outstretched when you fully breathe in. When you're breathing out, releasing the arms in that forward arc, back down, so the palms are back on the thighs. And have the eyes lightly closed and focus fully on the movement of the lungs and the breath. Breathing in, timed so that when you fully breathe in, the arms are extended overhead. And when you've fully breathed out, the palms will be back on the thighs. Twice more in time with your own breath, fully focused on the breath. When the palms and necks back on the thighs, standing comfortably, eyes staying closed, focused on the breath. Again, an excellent practice for releasing tension and great to do before bed. That completes the movement part of this class. The breathing today can be done from sitting or lying. It'll be thoracic breathing, so that's the mid-range area of the chest. If you're sitting, you might like to have a pillow beneath the sitting bones just to tilt the pelvis forward so you're a little more comfortable. And make sure that you're warm enough. Add an extra layer of clothes or socks or a blanket or scarf, just depending where you are. The body temperature will cool down when you get to the breathing and relaxation techniques at the end of the class. If you're lying, be lying in Shavasana. Check that you're supported beneath the, perhaps try something rolled underneath the knees if there's any lower back issues. Otherwise, you can try supports beneath the hips, pelvis or small of the back or the head and neck. So whether you're seated or lying, make sure you're comfortable, supported and warm enough. When you are, roll the shoulders down and back a little. If you're lying, wiggle them toward the feet. Have the eyes and the lips slightly closed. Allow the body to fully settle into the position you've chosen. Taking a few long, slow, deep breaths. With the outward breath settling into the position. And without any stress or strain to the lungs, or altering the breath in any way at all, begin to tune in to the movement of the chest with each breath. Chest moving, expanding with the breath in. Rib cage moving toward each other. The front of the chest toward the back of the chest with the outward breath. No stress or strain, just becoming aware of the movement of the chest with each breath in and out. And after the next outward breath, bring the palms of the hands to the sides of the rib cage with the fingertips pointing down towards the hips or pelvis. The heel of the hand is pretty close to the armpit, or as close as you can get it. Everyone's body shape will be different where it's comfortable for those hands. But basically so you can feel the movement of the ribs in that sideways direction. With the eyes closed, begin to focus on that area of the lungs beneath the hands, the thoracic area of the chest. And feel fully with that breath in, the ribs move away from each other, sides of the lungs expanding out towards the sides of the room, feeling in a sideways direction. With the breath out, the sides of the ribs moving closer toward each other. As the lungs breathe out, emptying of air, the ribs move closer together and therefore those hands are moving closer to each other. Breathing in, the lungs and chest and ribs are expanding, hands moving away from each other. Focus fully on that sideways movement, lungs and ribs. You might like to imagine or visualise the old-fashioned musical instrument, the squeeze box, that when you play it, it was pulled apart in a concertina fashion, pushed back together, hands moving closer together with the breath out. So focused and aware of that movement. Have the awareness stay with this movement. No stress or strain to your breathing. Should be no headache or shortness of breath, black spots or dizziness. Not forcing the breath at all. Just tuning in to this sideways movement that is actually occurring all day, every day. We're just usually unaware of it. Thoracic breathing. This can be done lying or sitting. Again, great to practice in bed, help you drop off to sleep or still the mind. After the next outward breath, let go of focusing on that thoracic, upper chest, sideways movement. Release the arms and hands. Allow the breath and the body to settle into its own natural rate and rhythm. Notice how the breath is, how the mind is. So all breathing techniques are useful at increasing the oxygenation levels to the body, assisting with thought processes for this reason, but are also calming, steadying, are rhythmic, help focus the mind, and again great for using before bed or in bed, particularly if you are having trouble sleeping. So thoracic breathing. So that completes the breathing part of this evening's class. The relaxation will be a form of Yoga Nidra, a shortened form, done from Shavasana. If you are seated, feel free to move now to Shavasana. If you're in Shavasana and wish to adjust your support, get extra layers or adjust anything beneath you, add extra socks, whatever it might be, feel free to do this now. With Yoga Nidra, it does rely on the body remaining still, knowing that if the body moves, the mind immediately follows. So Yoga Nidra is a practice designed to bring deep relaxation to body and mind. The body is more or less said to sleep while the mind remains awake and alert, hopefully, following the instructions. So again, if you haven't tried it before and you have lower back pain, you might like to try something, perhaps a rolled towel beneath the knees, or you can go the hips, small of the back, head or neck, wherever you need support. If you've got extra coverings over you, just make sure they're not either too tight around the feet and the hands so that you can actually be in Shavasana. Feet falling gently out to the sides, arms a little away, palms uppermost or lightly turned in, fingers lightly curled. Wriggle the shoulders down towards the feet and soften through the shoulder blades, the small of the back of the neck, the eyes and the lips remaining lightly closed throughout. Soften the muscles of the face. You might like to rotate the tongue around the mouth or wriggle the lower jaw. If you find you're holding a lot of tension in your jaw or face throughout the day, might be work related, stress related, whatever it may be, You can use that tongue movement and jaw movement at any time to help alleviate tension there, and also just softening the facial muscles. With that outward breath, softening fully into the floor. Aiming now to remain still throughout. If you do need to move throughout the practice, say to yourself first, I am moving the body. Bring now the awareness fully into the body, lying on the floor. Notice how the body feels at the heels, back of the legs, buttocks, shoulder blades, shoulders, back of the head and neck. Notice also the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. Observe the weight of the blankets or clothing on the body. Become aware of how the skin feels where it's exposed to the air. After the next outward breath, letting go of the body and tune in now to the sounds outside the room. Not naming the sound, just acknowledge it exists and move on to seek out yet another sound and another. Notice now the sounds within the room. The sound of the breath at the nostrils. Letting go of the sounds now. Bring the awareness once more to the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. Notice the rise of the chest with the breath in, fall of the chest with the breath out. Chest rising, chest falling. And begin counting down that breath at the chest in the following way. With the next breath in, stating mentally, chest rising, 9. With the breath out, stating mentally, chest falling, 9. Breathing in, mentally stating, chest rising, 8. Breathing out, chest falling, 8. Breathing in, chest rising, 7. Breathing out, chest falling, 7. Continue this running documentary mentally with each and every breath at the chest. If even a single breath is missed, or the count is lost, or 0 is reached, begin again at 9. Counting down the breath at the chest. If the mind should wander, a breath is missed, the count is lost, or 0 is reached, begin again at 9. Counting down the breath at the chest. After the next outward breath, letting go of the count at the chest. Letting go of observing the breath. Become aware once more of the weight of the body on the floor. Be aware of the room that you're lying in, the position of the doors and the windows. And begin to notice again the weight of the coverings or clothing on the body. How the skin feels where it's exposed to the air. How the body feels against the floor at the heels, back of the legs, buttocks, shoulder blades, shoulders, back of the head and neck. Become aware once more of the sounds outside the room. Become aware of the time of the day, whether you're doing this class in the morning, afternoon or evening. Become aware of the rise and the fall of the chest with each breath. And begin now to deepen that breath. And along with the deepening breath, deepen the awareness to include awareness of the whole body and the position of the body on the floor. You might like to gently begin to reawaken the body by gently moving the fingers and toes, the hands and the feet, perhaps turning the head and neck gently from side to side. If you feel you need to re-energize the body by taking a full, long, slow, deep breath, you might like to time that with a full body stretch, stretching the arms overhead, pushing the heels away and the toes toward the head. If you feel more that you need to release the muscles of the lower back, you might like to bring the knees to the chest with the knees and the feet together and make small circular movements with the knees, or perhaps rocking and rolling gently from side to side as you did at the start of the class in the warm-ups. Just whatever it is you feel you need to do to reawaken, re-energize the body. After that shortened form of Yoga Nidra, if you find that that's a useful practice for you, particularly in relation to helping with sleep, there is a full 30-minute Yoga Nidra on the Yoga Spot website. And as and when you're ready, rolling onto the right side with the eyes remaining closed. Just taking a moment or two to reflect on how you're feeling. What might be useful for you from that class that you could do throughout the day to alleviate either mental or physical tension. And when you're ready, come into a seated position. And if you're feeling quite internalized, feel free to keep the eyes closed. Practice palming, where you rub the hands or the palms together until they're hot. And cupping those warm hands over the eyes, not in contact with the eyelids, so that you can open the eyes into the depth and warmth of that warm dark space. And only when you're ready, opening the eyes, hopefully prepared to face the day. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope everyone's going well. I look forward to a time when we can restart. And I'd like to thank Chloe for the last few weeks. She's heading off to Melbourne to start work, so it'll either be me as a participant or hopefully we will be resuming soon. Anyway, stay well, everyone, and I hope some part of that class has been beneficial for you. Thank you.